Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it's the 18th of August, and it's kind of been a sleepy day here. Nothing really totally exciting, but the Dow is down a little bit after the speech by Chairman Powell. So that's not looking so hot, but we do have. I am going to be talking about an area of the market that seems to be doing well now. As you probably know, I mean, some of the tech stocks, what I normally specialize in, the growth stocks, they have been kind of pulling back and not really. They haven't been as exciting as they normally would be. But there is an area of the market that seems to be picking up steam. And this is really interesting because I've really never seen it like this before, but it definitely is true. And that is the shipping, the container shipping area. I'm going to be talking about two stocks today that I have bought that I think you might be interested in. And it's just because this is a kind of an interesting area of the market that, was totally unexpected. So it does look like with inflation, which we're going to be getting now, there's going to be a lot of inflation. But one of the things is we're going to see a lot of inflation in is shipping costs. As a matter of fact, it's getting very, very expensive to ship containers across the ocean. So the people that are really benefiting from this are the shipping companies, the container shipping companies, and I'm going to be talking about two of those companies. Basically today. Here's the thing: the market is in a confirmed uptrend. And if you want to get on our action trailer, it's very, very easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. And by the way, for everybody that's looking on TikTok right now, we are simulcasting this on YouTube. And today we are starting a new thing. We're going to be broadcasting to LinkedIn. So this is welcome everybody out there that's looking on LinkedIn. If you want to go ahead and put in comments, very, very easy to do. Just type them in and I'll read them on screen, and then we'll go over the charts for the stocks that you're interested in, after we get through the slides. So without further ado, let's take a look at the ship transportation area. As I say, this is an interesting area because this has come on as of late. This whole group, very interesting. It's 22 out of 197. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, there are 197 different groups that are in, there are 197 different groups in the stock market, and we try to like to concentrate on the ones that are in the top 50, and that is definitely the case with ship transportation. Now, I would have never seen this coming, but it did. It is coming. It's moving up very, very nice. And as a group, we have a relative strength of 86 now. So this is in the top 15% of all of the groups, and we have moved past a very key level, which is the 40-day moving average. So it's looking very good for this group. Not so good for other groups, but very good for this group. I just want to kind of run through the top shipping companies right now in the market and their market cap. Zim, the one that I did buy today, it's right below a buy point. This one has a market cap of about $5 billion, which is significant. There's another one called Kirby, and then there is the U.S.-based Matson line. They're based in Honolulu, Hawaii. They're at about $3,286,000. So pretty big company as well. I have moved in just in the last 2 days into Zim and to Matson lines. So we'll see how they do. Just kind of want to take a look at Matson here. And I don't know if you can kind of see this, but I did buy it yesterday. It is moving up today. It's about 75.50. It's the volume's down, but it's up about 1.57%. So it's making its way towards this 79.05 buy point. That's the actual buy point, but what we've been trying to do in this market is to buy them right before they come through a buy point. Now, what a buy point is, sometimes it's called a pivot point. It's sort of either a ceiling or a floor to the price. So as stocks move above this pivot point, they tend to get support there. So the best time to buy them, of course, is when they're right at the pivot or right above. But secondarily, we can buy them right before they pierce through the buy point. And definitely the buy point for Matson is right here at about 79.03. Now currently it's at about 75.50. So we were buying it a little bit early, buying a half position, then hopefully as it moves through, buying another half position. What is the catalyst for this is that, as you can see, some extremely good earnings. Their earnings were up, almost 1,000%. So this is showing that the right now there's lack of container transportation out there. The containers are in short supply, and these groups are also moving up very, very rapidly. Now, another stock that I did buy today, now I bought Matson yesterday, is Zim. This is the Israeli national shipping company. As you can see, it's formed this very nice cup pattern. This is a very auspicious pattern. We have this is the leading stock right now in the ship transportation group. So they just came through earnings. They blew out earnings. That's the reason I bought them. They moved above what they call the reversal line. So this one is looking very, very good. It's up very strongly. We'll see how it does. Well, hopefully it'll pass through the buy point here at about a 49. Hopefully it'll pass through that and it will move higher. But the two that I'm really concentrating on in this top group, this ship transportation group, are Zim, symbol ZIM, and also Matson lines. The symbol of that is MATX, and they're both, they're both below the buy point, but I do think they're actionable now. Wouldn't go in with a full position, but possibly a half position might work very, very well. I also wanted to show you what stocks that I'm holding currently. I have a position in AMD. I have not been sold out of this one yet. The volume is up, but the price is down. Not kind of what you want to see. There was a breakout. The actual buy point on AMD was right about 90. So from 90 to 100, that was the buying range. It's above that. So right now, AMD is a bit extended, and that's it's probably not a good time to enter the stock at this time. Now, yesterday, I did reverse kind of myself, and a lot of people pointed that out on TikTok. I'd been talking about Palantir, and I'd just been looking at it, been going down and down and down and down and down. Well, it finally made a reversal. It made a reversal yesterday. That's where I made my buy. It's up today, 187, and it's up about 7%. So Palantir seems to have made a reversal higher. I hope that's the case. The volume is up, the price is up. Those are the two good things you want to look for. Lots of volume and price increases, so that's looking good. Off a little bit on Robert Half, but this has been a good performer for me. I've only held it about 30 days, so not a long time. I also did take a position in Berkshire Hathaway. It's basically even, not really doing anything. Up a little bit on Capital One Financial, symbol COF. Just one little thing, talk about this. This is in the consumer finance area. This is also an area that is doing very well. As the techs have been selling off, this has been an area that has been particularly strong. It's consumer finance, especially in the car area. So COF is the symbol for Capital One. I'm also in this interesting one called ST Micro. This is a company that supplies automobile chips. It's a Swiss-Italian company. It's up about 41 cents a day. Not a lot, but the volume is good. This one just keeps on moving up, so very, very nice. Also, at the beginning of the week, I did move into a position in the financials, shipping financials, and some of the consumer finance areas are doing quite well right now, along with retail. I took a position in Goldman Sachs. It's off a little bit today, but it has been up as well. So Goldman Sachs is probably one of the leading money center banks as well. I also have a position in Trex. This is an interesting company. It's in the building products area. They make kind of plastic wood. So what's great about this product that they make out of recycled product is they get money to take in the product. They then turn it into plastic lumber, and then they sell it. And it's a very good product because if you build decks out of it, that kind of thing, they don't rust or they don't rot. So very, very good product. Trex is the name of the company, and they're up today about 73 cents. Yesterday also, I did buy a small position. This is a half position in Element Solutions. This is a chemical company. Again, we sort of are seeing this rotation towards what I consider more boring stocks like the chemical companies, finance companies, that kind of thing, away from some of the tech issues that we have. Really, the only tech issue right now that I have two real tech issues, and that's ST Micro and Advanced Micro Devices. The two chip stocks I have, and right now I'm not holding any the any of these software as a service companies. So I've all sold those out at profit. So most of those at a profit. So right now I'm kind of waiting for the money to come back into that part of the market before I'll be back into that market. Again, we talked about Matson. Of course, that's a shipping line. It's up today. The volume is down, but the price is up. That's very good. They had excellent earnings, and then Zim really had great earnings. The reason I bought this, of course, is the volume. It's up almost sixfold. This is after terrific earnings, up $1.90 and $1.09, or about 2.4%. So very interesting on that. Just want to kind of show you an allocation of one of my portfolios that I have currently. As you can see, I'm still mostly in cash, which is painful because I'd like to be out there doing more than just putting it in cash. This is one of my my IRA accounts that I have, 50% in cash. Then I have Robert Half. It's up basically 4%, 26 days. And then I have Matson, which I talked about today. I bought that yesterday. That's a relatively small position, 12%, or basically one full position. That's up 2%, very, very slightly. And then, of course, I also did purchase about 7 days ago, purchased Palantir on a reversal. That's up about 3% in 7 days. Down on AMD, of course, that is the chip stock I hold. So really, really not, still waiting for the right kind of things to move into. It's a tough market, I have to say. It's a tough market right now, and it's very difficult to allocate the capital where it seems to want to go. But we're trying to do our best to make that happen. So let's go to the questions. Thank you, Samuel. Jim, please check Wish and C3AI. Let's look at Wish. ISH. Of course, this is a tech stock, and we have the market has been rotating out of tech, so it's getting more difficult right now to initiate positions in this area, just because it's it just has been not as good an area. As you can see, this is the reversal line for Wish. Basically, what I've done is I've done from the top to the bottom, and this is the reversal line. It is still in a decline. It's in a downward trend right now. So Wish, I just not a good time to get into it. If you're down more than 7% in this one, I highly recommend you possibly taking a look at possibly closing your position here. It's got a relative strength of 2. That means it's in the bottom 2%. So it's just really, really not performing well. And sometimes, sometimes it might come back. You never know. But really, instead of hanging around and just watching your capital go down, I think you ought to consider possibly getting out of this one. It's got a 22% checklist. It's pretty bad. Maybe the sector will pick up. Who knows? But right now, the retail internet sector not doing well. It's 149 out of 197. So this is the real surprise, that when I started looking at the sectors in the economy, this is what I was seeing. This has been, this is where Amazon is. This is where a lot of great big giants are, but they just don't right now. There's a sell-off going on in some of the retail internet space. And that's just been the case. It's been selling off. They've been moving out of areas like this, the retail internet space, into some of the other areas like shipping. That's the reason I'm trying to find, things to buy in the shipping area, because that typically is better. So let's look at C3AI. C3. Let's see. C3AI. Just AI is a symbol for that. And that's this chart here. All right, well, I'm looking at the daily chart here. Again, same situation. We have a downward trend. Unfortunately, this is just not looking very good. This is in the computer software specialty enterprise area, 107 out of 197. Again, this is why I'm moving my investments away from this for right now. This was a very, very good area. I've done very well in this area, but this just isn't working. This area isn't working. Let's it just isn't working. 56% on the checklist. I think if you're down more than 7%, I think you just got to keep your powder dry. Try not to. This is hard when we have these rotations. Try not to let your capital be drawn down on this, because that can be a very tough thing if your capital gets drawn down, and I think that's just the situation. Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. That's had also some weakness, and I know this is very, very strange. I seem to be making apologies for the market, but Tesla looks like it went down and tested, but the downward trend continues. Unfortunately, with Tesla, currently it's at 690. It's up today about $24, which is very encouraging. It went down to the 200-day line. It bounced, and it's bounced up to the 21-day line. That's this green line here. The question is, will it move higher? Well, I think that really we seem to now have some support. We had some support at 700. It looks like the support now is about 680. So we've kind of round tripped everything. This is kind of what they call a wedging action. As you can see, it's just kind of wedging into this area here. Not looking, for a new entry here, I think you got to be careful. Now, if you're up, if you're up on the stock, I wouldn't sell it. But for right now, I wouldn't be entering a new position, because it just is not showing the kind of strength that we need to see for it. This is not a good entry point. We need to see some more strength in order for this to be more viable. Also, we want to take a look at Apple. Apple has pulled a little bit off of the 150 buy point there. It's 146. Yeah, it went up. It tested at 150. Now I did have Apple. I got stopped out of it. But this has been a tough one to trade as well. I mean, there's some resistance right here at 150. It just doesn't seem to want to move too much beyond that. It did a few days ago, and then it pulled right back down to the 21-day line. So I wouldn't be selling this, obviously, depending on what cushion you had, but I also wouldn't be buying this right now. So this is really kind of in sort of a no man's land, which it's not fun, because it's just tough to trade when it's like that. All right. Nvidia, sink or float, hoping to get a good price. I hope we do two hands. I've got two spreads on this. By the way, if you want to find out more about some of the spreads that we do, and these are options plays. These are limited risk option plays that we put together for everybody on the Action Trade Alerts. And of course, we do. If you're a member of the Discord group, that's really where we go into them. I had a special one for the Discord only group on Caterpillar. We were able to close that at a profit, not a huge profit, but we did okay on that one as well. So let's look at Nvidia, and of course, Nvidia reports today. And so we will see what happens. We're going to see what happens after hours. It seems like it's pulling back before the announcement. So we will see what happens. We're almost at the. We'll see how they do. They're going to announce tonight, and hopefully we will see a bounce there. That's the case. That's been the case on the last 4 out of the 5 earnings reports. So let's kind of look to see that. Of course, the earnings are coming out tonight. We've had steady growth in terms of sales from June. This is last year June, last year October, up January and April. These are the first two. These are the first quarters that have that have reported. The profits are up 104%. A quarter over year for this year as well. So we are going to get the total report here, hopefully here pretty quick. The estimated is 104, the reported. So it does look like this is the estimate is going to be earnings of a little over $1 share, about 1.02. That's the estimate. We'll find out in a few minutes what the what the situation is with the with Nvidia, and I'll try to cover that if I can get information on that. Deliver good numbers. It didn't move. Well, no, actually, it's not. Real Madrid. Unfortunately, with these kind of more normal stocks like Zim and stuff like that, it produced very good numbers. But it's just these aren't tech stocks. I mean, I hate to say it, we're not going. This is why buying at the right point is so critical, and that's why this is it's such a more difficult market to trade than it was just a few months ago. But basically, what I did here is that this is the reversal line. As it moved beyond the reversal line, that's where I bought, and you can see that my position, bought a half position at 47.70. See, I'm down on this a little bit, not a lot, but I'm down a little bit on that. But there's strong strong volume on that. So I set my stop loss at 45.54. So they had strong earnings. As you can see, they were up almost 1,000%. I mean, here's the thing. Their sales were up 200%, but their profits were up 1,000%. So that kind of shows you the interesting thing about these shipping companies. When they run full, they can be very profitable, but it's been years really since we've seen that kind of action on shipping. So let's talk to Gunter. Thoughts on the energy sector? I have a position of VDE ETF, but I'm thinking about moving it to cash. You know what? That's not necessarily a bad idea. It's just been a tough area. Let's kind of go through the sectors here to see kind of what the rankings are. And this is kind of, this is kind of interesting, I think. The number one sector right now is the energy sector, and it's coal. Can you believe that? And I don't have anything in the coal area, but that's the number one sector right now. Retail department stores, number two. That's like Kohl's and Macy's are in there. Steel producers have been doing extremely well. They're number three. There's something afoot because shipping and steel together, that kind of spells to me that we might be building up for a war situation. I don't put that out lightly, but that would seem like the reason. That seemed like that would be there. I don't have any steel producers yet, but there are some very good ones such as Nucor and Cleveland Cliffs, and of course MT, Ancor Metal. Those are all very, very good. Again, I do have some in the consumer finance area. The only computer area that seems to be doing well is the computer technical services. I just want to see if we can find any stock in this area that's worth looking at. Basically Accenture is number one in that area. Of course, they used to be Anderson Consulting back in the day, and then of course IBM. So, I mean, just for fun, I mean, I have not bought IBM literally in years. And take a look at IBM, the chart on IBM, to see if it's buyable. They seem to be putting in pretty good numbers, but it's not a stock I would buy, really, unfortunately. It's in this consolidation range, but it's moving lower. So, just an overall tough area to buy in right now. It seems like we're sort of treading water. Let's go back to the energy sector for Gunter and see if we can find anything that makes sense. Now, most of the, for about the last 3 months, the E&P area has been doing well. That's, of course, the exploration and production area in the oil sector. But as you can see, transportation ship is down here. Computer software desktop is coming up. That's primarily computer software desktop. That's primarily Microsoft. So let's see. Yeah, the E&P area, that's the best of the oils right now. It's fallen a little bit to industry group rank of 31. It was 17. Basically, 3 months ago it was number 4, and so this is now starting to fall. So probably not the best area if you're looking for an ETF, because this does seem to be not moving the right direction. We want stuff like commercial services, market research that's moving from 144 to 12. Those are the kind of areas we want to be looking for things in. Financial services also very good right now, and one of the real stars is auto parts. This is an area that always does well in recessions and in times of high inflation. So this might be kind of the sector that we want to look at also along with shipping is the retail auto parts. Now, advanced auto parts is one of the big ones in this one, and of course O'Reilly is number one, so it's O'Reilly, AutoZone, and Copart really. But let's take a look. O'Reilly is a very expensive stock. It's a very good stock, but I want to look at Copart. This is one of my favorite stocks in this space, and see if it's even in a buyable area. Well, it's done. Look at that. It went up and it went down. So I wouldn't consider this buyable, but if it bounces off of this red line here, this is the 40-day moving average. If it bounces off of that, then we might be able to consider it relative strength of 79. But right now we can't do anything with it. So not exciting in terms of things to buy. So here's the thing I would recommend doing on the energy section. You might want to go to cash or go to something like go to something even like a GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Let me take a look at that. That might be a cash alternative. GBTC. Now, GBTC holds about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. It is pulled back a little bit today, but it does look like it's reversing higher. So that might be a potential area as well for you, Hans. GBTC is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I'm not sure that you can buy that in Europe, though. I think it might be restricted only to people in the U.S. Just not sure about that. What do you think about Groupon stock? GRPN is the symbol. Well, Groupon was really doing well. I don't think GRPN, I just don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. Let's take a look. Yeah. Boy, I wish I could give you a better, I wish I could say this would be better and would turn or something like that, but this is just not a stock I would buy. Took a big slide. And this is why it's so hard to predict earnings, because even though it looks like it had great earnings, it fell very hard, and then it's way down here, relative strength 5, and it's under the 200-day average. I just don't think you can buy this one. It's just not a good enough chart. So let's see, what time is it? See if they've done their announcement yet. No, we've got the market closes in about another about 30 minutes. Okay, so we're moving right down the line. We'll see what happens. Okay, CrowdStrike. Let's look at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike. If all of the software as a services, and I've had this one too. CrowdStrike is one of the best ones, but it just isn't. The enterprise software group, even the security software, just isn't really performing really nicely. There was this, you see, purchase one full position, and then I was stopped out, and I'm no longer in CrowdStrike. It pulled back, and I basically had a very tight stop on it, about 4%. This market, you just can't let your losses accumulate. It's pulling back. It's got earnings in about 13 days. So my view on this one is probably, it's just not a good entry point. It definitely should remain on your watch list because it's a good stock, but I want to see it move above that 251.28 buy point before I'm interested in CrowdStrike, unfortunately. Roblox, and of course, along with Unity, these two stocks are big in the software used to create video games, and so Unity is also another one you might want to look in this area. Pulled up very nicely to the 40-day moving average, so that's looking pretty good. But the relative strength is still weak, 58. I typically only like to buy them if they're 80 or better. So we did have some very nice buying coming in, but I still don't like this chart. This is the reversal line I'm going to draw here, and it might pull above that, but I don't think we want to buy that until it moves above this reversal line. Currently, Roblox as a stock is in a downward trend, and it's never a good idea to buy in a downward trend. This is basically Seattle to Miami, not the thing you want to see. It's moving lower, unfortunately. Yeah, it's moving lower. So I would say that, it's probably not the time to enter a position in Roblox, but definitely keep it on your list. It's a good stock. It's just you don't want to buy in a downward trend. You just don't want to do it. I'm up about 10% with my long-term position in Orsted, my opinion is a very stable stock, market leader in the area. Gap to fill. That sounds excellent, Rio. Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, there's just a lot of stocks right now that are going to be are going to be different. Now, another area of the market that seems to be getting a lot of love right now is medical, and of course J&J is probably the leader in that, and it was, I think, right at a buy point. So I want to kind of take a look at this. It's going to be hard to see on this chart. Yeah, it's right in the buy zone. So if you're looking for more of a safety stock, look no further than Johnson & Johnson. This is probably one of the most stable stocks out there. Now, there's a few things I don't like about it, of course. Relative strength is only 62. I'd like to see 80 there, but they've just gone through, I just think gone through earnings. Let's see when earnings are for Johnson & Johnson. Okay, yeah, earnings are October 19th. So they've got a pretty long ramp there. Right now it's critical that you buy right and that you don't, if you're not up 10%, don't hold through earnings, because that can be very costly in this kind of market. But right now, Johnson & Johnson's looking good. They did have a pretty good earnings, so the last earnings were up 49%. So I think that you could probably, if you're looking at a place to sort of, park some cash right now, I think this one might be a good one. Johnson & Johnson. I'm currently not in it, but I'm considering it because I do think they're likely to hold their value. They weren't pushed up too high in the value, and they have very good cash flow. We're looking at about 78% on the checklist. So overall, Johnson & Johnson probably is a good, if you're just looking for return or a place to put your foot down right now, that might be a place to do it with Johnson & Johnson. Looking for DVD, and that's Dover Motorsports. I guess this is this the operates two motorsports tracks? Okay, so this is like this is okay. Yeah, okay. This is a sort of a penny stock. It's kind of cool that you could actually you could have a stock that ran two tracks, but apparently that is the case. Boy, this one you might be able to make some money on this, but it's below the buy point. The tough thing about stocks when they're penny stocks, and anything below $10 is considered a penny stock, is they're tougher to buy because they're more volatile. But the checklist looks good, 67, especially for this area. The industry rank is terrible, 190 out of 197. Of course, it's leisure services. The biggest issue that you have with this kind of thing is that are people going to come back to the outdoor entertainment venues? I mean, with the COVID thing, who knows? It's been it's a question mark. So I do like it. I would probably watch this. Would I go into this heavily? Probably not, just because I don't think we have enough. I just don't think there's. Right now, I think it needs to reverse higher. Right now, it's in a downward trend. So I probably would not be a buyer at this point, but I definitely would watch this. It's very interesting stock. Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. This is interesting. Okay, this is go. Oh, suggest to the hosts. I was just looking at this thing for TikTok to go live with another host. This is a good question. Thank you very, very much. We can't see your graph. What you have to do if you're on TikTok is go to this youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, because unfortunately with TikTok I cannot display the graphs, but the graphs are being displayed on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So you can definitely see it. And by the way, if you want to get on our action trade alerts, super easy to do. All you have to do is go to my profile, click on the link, and then scroll down and you'll be able to see it. First and last name, the email address, and you'll be on the action trade alerts. So we've put out some very good stuff on that. We did a list for all the members of all of the stocks that were on our ready list, and that's very, very helpful in kind of screening stocks, getting ready to buy. And that's what I do is I try to go through and I have a create a ready list, and then we screen those stocks that are getting ready to buy. And that can be a very good thing as well. All right, Real Madrid, Fitch, in my opinion, they're a good area. The chart looks good. Let's take it FTCH. I think this is far-fetched. FTCH, and this I think this is supply chain management. Yeah, far-fetched. Operates a modern end-to-end platform to connect the luxury frac ecosystem worldwide. So this is really a supply chain play. Kind of interesting company. So I think it's a British company. I think it's in a great area. I agree with you. It's got earnings in one day, so I wouldn't buy it today. But right now, unless it shows a turnaround, currently it's in a downward trend. So we probably don't want to buy this one. It's below the 200-day line. Just not something we want to buy as it's making a potential lower low. So I would be careful with this one. Very interesting company. But the checklist is not good. It's 44%. I typically like to see 67% or better. So I'd avoid this one just because the chart doesn't look good. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to change and move higher. It may definitely do that. But for right now, I don't think you can do it. Will Nvidia beat earnings? I hope they do. If Nvidia beats earnings, and hopefully, because I have two spreads on it. I have a call spread, a bull call spread, and I have a bull put spread. So I have both of them. And by the way, if you put both of those together, you end up with a iron condor. So I kind of created an iron condor, not thinking I was going to do that, and I did. So, anyways, Airbnb. Airbnb, great idea, of course. I just don't know about how good a stock they are, but as a concept, Airbnb has been a great one. I think it's potentially extremely profitable company, and they definitely have the brand, but their stock just hasn't been doing very well as of late. Since really about February, Airbnb has been pulling lower. Okay, unfortunately, that's the case. We were all the way up here at 219. We've lost we've shed $100 in valuation. I'm not into. I don't want to lose this much money, and it doesn't look like this trend is changing, and we're starting to get below the 200-day line. So I would avoid Airbnb, at least for right now. The checklist is okay at 67, but I don't want just okay. If I'm going to take this kind of risk, it's better for me to sit out and cash until I can find the right thing to buy. I just don't think Airbnb right now is the right thing to buy. I just don't see it. It just doesn't look as good. Amazon, of course, is in the internet retail group, and this has been, I closed my spread on Amazon because it just wasn't behaving nicely, and we have continued to have problems with Amazon as it's pulled below the 200-day line. So right now, it's a tough sell for Amazon, unfortunately. Now we probably going to get some support at about 31.72. It's currently 32, so we're very close to it dropping below another key level of support. Right now, Amazon is in the process of creating a new base. Not a good time to buy it. Just the chart does not look right. We've got a retreating price. We also have increasing selling action. So at least for right now, it doesn't look good. I mean, their earnings were stellar, up 47%, but it does not look like, it looks like a stock that is pulling back somewhat. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, we're definitely pulling down to the 200-day line. Now we might get a reversal off the 200-day line, but right now, I just think you got to be super careful with Amazon. If you're down more than 7%, consider probably lightening up or possibly selling, just because it looks as if that is the direction, and it looks like it is moving lower. It looks like it's going to move at least temporarily below that 3,200 level. So be kind of careful on that. VIAC. Let's look at that. Viacoms. And it's a global media company. I don't know this one. They're also in motion pictures and everything else like that. Wow. pretty exciting. But I don't like the chart. It's below the 200-day line. 46 relative strength. Earnings per share were down. Earnings were down. Sales were up. So that's not. We don't want to see that. 34% funds. Return on equity, 19%. That's terrific. And it's got tremendous cash flow, $23. What is wrong with this picture? Why is this such a low price to earnings ratio? Something is wrong here with this one. Okay. Short interest, 3.3 days, up 21%. Okay, this one, this is a climax. So basically, this is a short squeeze here. So this one looks like it's in play for the shorts. I don't quite know why it is. I don't have any information on this, obviously, because I am the guy with no inside information. But it looks as if we had a situation back in the end of March with this one, where we did have this climax top and then this rapid movement down. I think was I don't know exactly why that happened. Probably a short squeeze. It does look like this one may be in play, but I'd be careful here because the motion picture business has not been doing very well, and of course, AMC is still holding in there, but it's been really tough for them. So I would not recommend this one. Unfortunately, it just doesn't look doable. We have a question on NEO and Palantir. I go over NEO every day. I don't think anything's much changed with NEO. I don't think it's looking good. I don't think the chart's looking all that good. It's below the 200-day line. Probably you're going to have to wait for a reversal. We may have started a reversal here. I don't know, but I definitely would not buy this below the 200-day line. And I would consider being very careful with this altogether, based on the fact that it is a Chinese stock, and these Chinese stocks have been under pressure by the CCP. They've been under pressure to share their earnings, and who knows what's going on there. But I think it's a risky. I'd be careful with NEO, even though it's probably one of the best of the automobile companies. Now there is another one in China. Now there is another one called Build Your Dreams, which is listed on the Hong Kong exchange. Berkshire Hathaway has about 10% of that company. That's probably a little bit better. I have never traded it because it doesn't trade on the U.S. exchange. It just trades on Hong Kong. But I think NEO, unfortunately, is just right now. Wait for a better time. That's all. That's what I say. I never sell my Apple isn't way up on both. Hey, that's fantastic. No, I think if you're up on Apple, and Tesla, if you've got more than here's the thing: the typical rule for selling is if it goes up 20% in less than less than 8 weeks, you want to keep it. If it goes up 20% over 8 weeks, you want to consider possibly selling half of it, selling into strength. This is Apple. Apple is down somewhat again today. It was moving up here nicely, got to the 150 buy point. I think that's easier to see over here on the weekly chart. Yeah, it's not exactly easy to see. It got up to the 150 buy point. It was rejected at the buy point, and it has been moving down. Now, hopefully, we'll get some support right about here. So I do suspect it probably will move up into the end of the week, just because of the fact that it looks like it's going to bounce off that 21-day line. So, that might be where to go. With Tesla, it's probably a different story. I sold out all of my Tesla stock basically because I bought in last year, of course, at when it was way back here in 318. This is where I bought the first time, wrote it up, but it's basically in a basing pattern right now. I mean, if you can wait, this might pay dividends, but I'm not gonna wait around for it. I'm gonna wait until it starts moving in either direction, and then I'm probably going to be back in. But right now, I don't have a position in Tesla. Let's go look to see what's happening with Nvidia, because we are after hours now. See what happens. Well, it's okay. Did we get anything? Did we get any answer? No, it looks like it's holding steady. We will see. So this might sell off. This might sell off. Oh, no, here we go. It seems like it's moving a little bit. So it's about even. Well, it's kind of right about that 190 level. So we pulled back pretty strongly. So we might have a situation where we have to do something with the spreads. Who knows? We may have to renegotiate some of these, but we will see what's going on there. With that, we may not have been a good one. All right. All right. Fed pulling back. Tech may tumble. Yeah, I'm afraid you're right. I think they just can't keep on printing the money. That's what I think, because they have to do this because there hasn't been an agreement on the debt ceiling. So that's part of the reason why you see some of the strength in some of things like these inflationary stocks, like the shipping stocks, I think. So that seems to be the way it's going. Hey, Jim, what should my stop loss be on Apple? Okay, let's see a reasonable stop loss for Apple. I'm going to pull up the chart here. You know what? I would consider having my stop loss probably. Yeah, okay. Probably, let's look at the 30-minute chart. I would consider it about at 144. That's sort of where I would be looking to initiate a stop loss. That's right here. That's kind of where I'd put my line in the sand. It'd be about 144. So that's where I would put my stop loss on Apple, because it does seem like it's getting some support at 145, but I think if it moves beyond a little bit lower than 144, I think we might have to be a little bit more careful. So that's where I put my stop loss on Apple. Let's look at Coinbase. That's interesting. COIN. Of course, this is the leader in some of the Bitcoin plays in terms of it. But unfortunately, I wish this was a better chart. I just wish it was a better chart. But this is not a chart you want to buy. It's in a downward trend. Yeah, it's just not. You just don't want. There's it's getting tough. I mean, there's not as many good setups as there were. Yeah, we just have a downward trending chart. So I wouldn't buy coin. Let's see what's going on with Target. I think TGT is a little bit different. I think that's probably the stronger. Yeah, much stronger. This is different. This is a pullback. So yeah, this is very viable actually. For Target is actually very viable, because what's very likely to happen here, and we just had earnings, it looks like they're up just slightly, is that we're going to get a bounce right here. So Target may be actionable, because it looks as if, and I'm just going back in history here, it looks as if when they have good earnings, of course, they move up, but it does seem that it bounces off of these index lines. So once, essentially not really twice, but I would be looking for Target to reverse higher based on this chart. So out of the two, TGT I think is the one you want. I would wait until it has an up day and then possibly consider moving into it. AMD, everybody knows that I am a holder of AMD, and sacrifices. Yeah, unfortunately, it really is pulling back to where it was. I mean, it's pulling back to its buy point. The buy point on AMD is about 90. So from 90 to 92, and that's really right in here. So around 95 to maybe 100. That's your buy point. So it looks like it's pulling back to that. We may get a second chance on that, but right now I don't think we can do anything with AMD. Let's look at FND and see what's happening there. Oh, nice. Floor and Decor. Okay, it looks like it's bounced. Yeah, this is looking very good, actually. It's one of the few ones that I really like. Yeah, this is looking good. I think you could buy it here. It's actionable. It's right at the top of the pivot, though. So if you're going to do anything on it, you want to do it quickly. I wouldn't buy it too much above about 115, but that's looking pretty good. Pretty good there. Pretty good. All right. All right. Let's get to some of the other questions from TikTok. Thank you very much. And by the way, if anybody's watching on LinkedIn, if you could type in a question, that would be wonderful. That way, I can see if all the feeds are working properly. Because we just started doing feeds on LinkedIn, so that's kind of exciting. Let's look at Clover Health. This is for somebody on TikTok. CLOV, I think it is. Is that right? CLOV. I believe this is Clover Health. I get it right. There we go, Clover Health. This one was a favorite of a lot of people. I have not owned this one, so but it's essentially a penny stock. It's $8 a share. It had a very nice climax top up to $28, and then it's come back down to earth. I just think that you probably want to avoid it. I just think you want to make an avoidance on that one because it just doesn't look very, very good. Okay, well, just wanted to give a shout out there to everybody. Thanks so much for taking a look. If you're interested in signing up for the special Discord service and you just want to go directly to it, it's www.vinny.com/u/Dallas Trading Floor. Also, if you want to get on the action trade alert, super easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. And if you also want to, if you're on TikTok, it's super easy. All you have to do is click on the bio, click the link, and first and last name, and we'll get you right going on that. Well, we've come to the end here today. I'll be back tomorrow at about at about 2:30 Central Time. And of course, if you have your questions on stocks that you want me to cover, just try to get in a little bit early so you get to the top of them, so I get to all of them. Again, we just started. Want to welcome everybody that's watching on LinkedIn. We just started simulcasting on LinkedIn, and currently we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope, as well as TikTok. So thanks to everybody. Tell your friends about the show. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy trading, and I hope to see you tomorrow back here with all your questions, and hopefully I can give you decent answers. But until then, happy trading.